today. You're listening to the Bloomberg Intelligence radio show, where we cover all the news for you with our top analysts from Bloomberg Intelligence. They cover 2,000 companies and 130 industries all around the world. Some headlines just crossing the terminal right now. A judge...
You know, yeah, absolutely. I mean, our energy colleagues, talk about, President Trump loves to talk about clean coal, right? But our energy colleagues will tell you is that, look, the momentum is shifting and that initiatives to solar and wind and so forth are there. And that's a, market focus that the policy place can either step in the way of or try and slow down.
Hey, Nathan.
But, yep.
Let me just interrupt you for a second because we have some breaking here. The House now has the votes to pass TikTok divestment bill. The vote is still ongoing, but it looks like we now have the votes. The House has the votes to do this. Okay, what do you think happens from here, Nathan?
Yeah, so, my colleague Matt Shettenholm has been fielding a lot of calls all morning about this. And his take was, which I agree with, is that there is momentum right now. You've heard say President Biden said he would sign it, but he also said in the same breath that there could be some changes. The person to watch right now is Senator Maria Cantwell, who is the chairwoman of the Senate Commerce Committee, because if this bill goes to the Senate, as it looks like it's going to be up to her and Senator Chuck Schumer to decide what to do next. Now, Matt has put out a 30% chance of success this year. We don't think the Senate is actually going to take this up immediately, and I think the momentum behind this bill could effectively kill it. There is just enough, enough discourse or enough disagreement over what exactly the specifics should be that I think a lot of people here want to be seen as being tough on China, but actually don't want to move forth with something that would ban an app that's popular with hundreds of millions of Americans.
Well, I guess one thing that I'd want to know is that, just to bring it back to your election issue, is, how important let me rephrase that. I'll start again, Alex.
Yes, do it.
I will do it. What do you think is the chances of this vote surviving a Trump administration? Because, he's come out against the idea that TikTok needs to sell itself or get banned.
Yeah, so I think right now the narrative has shifted. Obviously, you had the tough on China President Trump, and now, things have shifted a little bit. I think it could shift again. And so I don't think TikTok is out of the woods, certainly if this doesn't pass this year. So if you get President Biden next year, I would anticipate that policymakers would try again. But I think a lot of it just comes down to the national security operations of the United States government. And what is the DNI, Director of National Intelligence out there saying? What is the CIA Director saying? And I think as time goes on, if this becomes a national security question as opposed to a political question, TikTok could be in trouble. I just don't think it's going to be this year.
Does Chuck Schumer take it to the Senate?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not confident. I think at the first point is he'll defer, and this is what Matt's analysis is as well, is I think he'll defer to Senator Cantwell and the Senate Commerce Committee. I think she'll have substantial changes, potentially could just make this into a broad social media bill, not specifically directed towards TikTok. But then I think he'll direct it to the committee, see what the committee comes up with, and oops, if it's just too late before the election, we're just going to have to let it sit.
That's an interesting take, because I think I'd really want to know what the read across is for Meta and for YouTube.
Well, our analysis is that obviously this will be good for Meta and YouTube because, if you have Instagram using still, a lot of Instagram influencers will film their TikToks and then just copy and paste it and put it back on Instagram. But if you don't have TikTok, a lot of people will gravitate towards Instagram. But I would also just state that if this bill were to pass, you're going to have a court case.
Yeah.
TikTok is almost certainly going to sue on this, and that court case will probably take years to go through. So even if this bill passes, I'd be highly shocked if TikTok is taken off the app stores by the end of the year.
Does this anecdotally surprise you? Because President Trump did reverse his decision on whether or not TikTok should be banned, and that caused a lot of hubbubaloo over the last couple days. So then there was a theory that maybe House Republicans would side on President Trump's side. So are you surprised that this actually went through?
Yeah, I am. I'm surprised, that President Trump changed his mind. And I'm also surprised that House Republicans have really stuck to their guns on this. What I would say, though, is being tough on China is good politics no matter which party you are in. And even though President Trump has changed his tune to a certain extent, he changed it within the parameters of his overall brand. For these House Republicans, it's a little bit different. And so I think they were just more, going to the idea of, I just need to continue to be seen as being tough on China, because if I am seen politically as giving China an opening, then potentially a GOP primary candidate or a general election in a purple state race or so forth like that, I could be at risk. So I think they're just going back to what they believe, the comfort position, if you will, and they're just going to hope for the best.
All right. Nathan, thanks a lot. Super appreciate it. And thanks for reading that all on the fly for us as well. Nathan Dean, Bloomberg